Okay, who do I call for this next collab? I'm running super thin right now. Wait, let me try something. Does anyone want to cover SMT4 with me? Huh. Guess I'm doing it on my own this time. Wait, why is it the same?
Hey, what's going on, baby? Sorry I was late. I was a little busy doing your mom or something. I don't know.
Whoa, Simply Dad! Thanks for coming. Now I just need another person to take Jonathan's place on the thumbnail.
I mean, from the looks of it, I think it's just gonna be you and me this time around, bro.
Whatever, it's less work anyway.
Oh, hold up. Who's gonna be Jonathan then?
I don't know. David Lynch? Shin Megami Tensei 4 started development in August of 2009, just after the completion of Strange Journey. Following in Strange Journey's footsteps, it was decided that the fourth numbered entry in the series would be made on the Nintendo DS due to the convenience of play. However, as time went on, development was moved to the Nintendo 3DS, allowing for a massive upgrade in what the team was able to do on a graphical and gameplay level. The development team would come to be known as Team Maniacs, named after the enhanced re-release of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, and the group would be led by the director of said version, Kazuyuki Yamai. As development got further along, more and more staff was brought on to create the game, leading to a mix of veteran staff who had worked on previous entries in the series, and newer ones who hadn't. This generational divide caused some issues initially, as the two groups had different ways of thinking. For example, some of the younger staff were used to contemporary games that featured sweet female characters who say nice things, and wanted SMT4 to also feature such sweetness. Yamai and the older staff disagreed, with Yamai specifically seeing the series as having bitter content, and that it would not be possible to add such sweetness to the game. Another major conflict came from how each staff member had their own idea of what Shin Megami Tensei was. Yamai, having to play Peacemaker, decided to take each person's opinion on how things should be and work them into the game while not deviating from that bitterness.
When it came to the concept of the game, series art director Kazuma Kaneko wrote an extremely detailed draft that, if put out in a physical edition, would likely make around 7 to 8 volumes worth of story. Damn. Is that for real? You don't have to keep this in, but goddamn, that's a lot. The story was split into 2 parts, the reincarnation chapter, which made up 2/3 of the game's plot, and the destruction chapter, which made up the final act. This story was incredibly fleshed out, but due to various restrictions, such as development time and what was capable with the 3DS, the entirety of the destruction chapter had to be cut, and the reincarnation chapter had to be trimmed down to make it all fit. That was about the extent of Kazuma Kaneko's input on the game. It was starting with this entry that Kaneko would start to take steps away from game development and instead taking on a managerial role within Atlus that focused more on running the company itself. Due to Kaneko stepping down as series character and demon designer, replacements needed to be found. Yamai would ultimately decide to pick up Trauma Center series character designer Masayuki Doi as the new lead character designer for this game. However, when it came to designing new demons, multiple designers were hired, many of whom had previously worked on designs for Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. Other major development staff would include Strange Journey director Eiji Ishida as the game's art director, as well as Ryota Kazuka as the game's lead composer. Upon its release on May 23, 2013 in Japan and July 16, 2013 in North America, SMT4 would receive very positive reviews in both Japan and the West, as well as becoming Atlus's second best-selling game in recent history, falling just 4,000 units shy of the debut sales of Persona 4 back in 2008. By July 2015, it had sold over 600,000 copies worldwide, and even gained a direct sequel in the form of 2016's, yeah, I'm not saying that fucking game's name, you can just put that shit on the screen.
The Eastern Kingdom of Mikado, a fusion of feudal Japan and medieval Europe. It is one based upon a caste system. Those at the top who lead the kingdom and live in luxury are known as luxurers, while those who live in poverty and occupy the working class are dubbed casualries. The only way for a casualry to become a luxurer is to become one of the few chosen samurai, the highest ranking of guard in Mikado. You play as Flynn, a cavalry from a village just outside of the capital, who ventures to Mikado with his friend Issachar to partake in the Gauntlet Rite, a ceremony that will determine who will be inducted into that year's group of samurai.
To be chosen as a samurai, an individual must be selected by the strange metal gauntlet they equip. Issachar is rejected, but Flynn is ultimately chosen and he becomes one of 5 samurai inducted into the group. The others chosen are Jonathan, a gentle luxury, what the fuck, who seeks to unite all in service of Mikado regardless of caste. Walter, a brash member of the cavalries who seeks to become a samurai for the adventure and to escape the life of a fisherman. Isabeau, a strong-willed luxurer who, despite her stoic attitude, lacks in conviction. And Navarre, a luxurer asshole who stops being important like 2 hours into the game. Mac, why did you write this shit, bro? You know that's not true.
After obtaining the position, Flynn learns the true nature of the samurai. To venture into the depths of Naraku, the dungeon at the center of the samurai's bastion, slay the demons within the caverns, and keep the existence of the demons a secret from the public. Shortly afterwards, the samurai receive reports of an entity known as the Black Samurai distributing cursed books to the populace of the countryside, transforming them into demons. The samurai are sent in to eliminate the demons and confront the foreign entity, but the Black Samurai escapes and makes its way into Naraku, descending deeper than any samurai is allowed to travel. Flynn, Jonathan, Walter, and Isabeau are then tasked with journeying into Naraku and bringing the Black Samurai back to be tried for their crimes. But the further and further into Naraku they go, Flynn and company come across various oddities. Demons attempting to stop them from traveling further, a strange device that allows them to teleport to other similar devices, and a handheld weapon that fires projectiles from a distance. Once they make their way through Naraku, it is then they find themselves in the Unclean One's country.
SMT4 marks the first game in the series to return to the third-person perspective that was introduced in Nocturne 10 years prior. Along with this change, a number of other aspects from dungeon crawling have been altered. The most obvious change is the removal of random encounters in favor of enemies appearing on the map. Not only does this allow you to pick and choose your battles, but it also lets you get the jump on an enemy and deal damage to them before the battle even begins. As part of this, your equipment actually has importance beyond basic-ass stat changes now. While acquiring and equipping them is the same as it's always been, your currently equipped armor is now reflected on your character model as you run around the world. And as for your melee weapon, what type of weapon you have equipped will change the attack animation you use to hit enemies and other things in the environment with. Some have a shorter range but are faster, while others take longer to use but have a greater range. While not the most important decision you're going to be making for your character, it still adds an extra layer of strategy when it comes to reacting to the enemies you come across. Another addition is the increase in interaction points in each area. In Nocturne, you would occasionally come across a ladder or something that you could interact with, but in 4, there are way more of them that help expand the map and make them more complex than what they would have been. For instance, there are tons of points to let you crawl through tight spaces, climb up on a roof of a building, and jump across gaps. And while there are straight dungeons in this game, SMT4 approaches its world design with the idea of making every area dungeon-like by making them larger and more explorable than previous entries. While there are underground safe areas that act as towns in the game, the maps adjacent to them are more open with things to find and places to explore. It does result in less dedicated dungeons than what was in Nocturne, but it makes up for it by having most every area be hostile and really makes the world feel more dangerous as a result.
Much like with the camera, combat marks the return of the press turn system, which hadn't been seen in any Mega 10 game since Digital Devil Saga 2 in 2005. When compared to Nocturne, the combat as a whole hasn't changed much. It's been tightened up and made faster than it was 10 years prior, but the core has remained unchanged. The major differences come in the form of the smirk system and partners. If one of the player's units attacks an enemy weakness, they gain not only a press turn, but they also get a chance of smirking. Smirking increases that unit's damage output, removes any weakness they have, increases the chance of them dodging attacks, and basically guarantees an extra press turn if one is available. However, this only lasts for their next turn, so no matter what you do, that smirk is going away. Smirk can also be gained if a unit absorbs or blocks an attack. And like with the press turn system, the enemy can make just as much use out of smirk as you can. The second addition to combat is the partner system. Whenever you enter battle while traveling with Walter, Jonathan, and/or Isabeau, one of them is randomly selected to take part as a partner. Partners act as support in battle, as they are allowed one action at the end of your turn. Jonathan favors wind and ice magic. Walter prefers physical attacks and the occasional fire spell. And Isabeau covers lightning magic as well as recovery spells. What action they take is also selected at random, so you better hope that you don't end up with a bad partner for your current fight, because the AI isn't very smart, and will have Walter fucking use Agi on Minotaur and make him smirk, thus leading to your whole team getting wiped in a single fucking turn! There are various other gameplay systems that return from past entries, such as the ever-present Demon Fusion, and even an overhauled app system left over from Strange Journey. The biggest new addition to player customization, however, is Demon Whisper. Demon Whisper is 4's equivalent of Magatama from Nocturne or the various guns in Strange Journey. As a demon levels up, it gains new skills. Once they've acquired every skill they can get, a Whisper event occurs, allowing you to pick and choose what skills to transfer onto your character from what your demon has available. If you already have a skill, its rank is upgraded instead. With each rank, things such as effectiveness or MP cost is improved, allowing you to strengthen your character even further. And lastly, you got Burroughs, your little AI assistant. I like her, she's nice.
Alright, so this is the part where we talk about our opinions on a game now, yeah?
Dad, don't you think everyone knows your opinion on 4 by now?
Nah, I don't think the people really know my true feelings about this game just yet.
You have a video literally titled Shin Megami Tensei 4 is a masterpiece.
Alright, listen, I'm gonna tell them what I think about this game anyways, bro. As far as I'm concerned, it's my show now, so you're just gonna sit there and listen to what I gotta say, alright? Thank you. Thank you so much, man. That was very kind of you. Mwah. I kiss you on your forehead. When I played SMT4 in 2013, I ain't never played a single game like this one before. Let me tell you something, bro. This shit was so different from the kind of things I've been playing for God knows how long before I got my hands on this game right here. I look so hard for that kind of game with that fleshed out world that never seems to end, with streams of content busting out of every single corner of the game. And shit, when I played this game, I think I found just that. There's so much I could say about this game I haven't really touched on anywhere else. So much side content that stuck out to me, side quests, NPCs, memories from playing the game for the first time. This game has just got so much cool shit hiding in it that I wouldn't even know where to start. I mean, I guess we can start with the negatives, because I already know people want to act like I think this game is perfect after I drop my video on it, because, you know, looking at everything in a black and white view is how functioning, well-adjusted human beings act. See, that's kind of a layered joke, because SMT4's theme kind of got that black and white thing going on. Also because Megami Tensei fans are fucking stupid. This game is too damn easy, bro. Like, if this ain't your first Megaten game, then there's virtually zero challenge the game's story gotta offer you after the first 2 bosses, maybe. The variety of demons is non-existent. They all kind of fall into one of 3 categories, and when you confuse almost any move on any demon, it basically just becomes you fusing to get your favorite skills on your favorite PNG with literally no variety to them after a while. Incenses and grinding DLC make the issue a whole lot more obnoxious as well. But, I don't know, that's always been like an issue with modern Megami Tensei games, and it's not really anything unique to SMT4, I guess, so I don't really think too hard on it, bro. And for as much as I like to praise the game's characterization, its themes and plot, a lot of it's hidden behind a lot of subtext that, from what I've seen, a lot of people didn't pick up on. There's so much more to characters like Navarre or Tayama, even your main cast, but the way people talk about the characters online, it seems like something the game failed at making more apparent, even though it is there. Yeah, and I don't really fuck with Masayuki Doi's art style neither, bro. I tried being nice to it before, but it just don't got shit on Kaneko's unique art style and kind of makes the game's characters look a whole lot more, I don't know, generic. And while we on the topic of art, what the fuck is this shit, dog? Why are there like 500 different demons done in like 6 different art styles? It don't make sense how anybody thought this was a good idea. I know I just said I love Kaneko's style, but putting his SMT1 demons right next to his Strange Journey demons, right next to his Devil Summoner demons, It's just such a ghetto ass look, bro. I wouldn't mind having less demons if it meant it was such a big ass clash in art style, from Conoco's to Doi's to the 100 other guest artists they got to do even more art. Like, I don't know, bro. Come on now. But other than that, this game kicks ass, bro. I swear, the combat is so fast and fluid. It turns boring ass, turn-based ass combat and makes it something actually engaging, with bosses that can be tackled in so many different ways. The world of Tokyo, ooh, that shit is so rich with atmosphere and style. That desolation is really felt walking around these places. So much shit to explore, so much content to find, so many demons to beat on, bro. Did you know in Kasumi Gaseki, there's those out of order elevators? Well, you can actually get key cards for them and go in them. And there's a whole plotline in there about the Ashurakai locking the people in there to die and shit, bro. And there's pretty much nothing else there besides some cool world building. And that's shit that I fucking love about this game, bro. Opening up the Tokyo barrier for the first time, finding that Toyosu and Tenozu shelter, finding the Fiends for the first time, all them side quests with their own unique storylines and characters. Play this game without a guide on your first playthrough and see how much cool shit you'll find on your own. It is so worth it. The themes of the game are great too, with action and inaction and the idea of opposites being the biggest ones out there. The way Walter and Jonathan go through their own character arcs as they're influenced throughout the story, you know, with Walter starting off this aloof, free-spirited, ending up as a character who slows down and thinks a little bit more, becoming more thoughtful and apologetic for his actions as the game goes on. You know, you got Jonathan, who starts off as a little bitch but spirals into this aggressive, violent shell of what he used to be. Young man is willing to go through any lengths to do what he thinks he's gotta do, threatening people's lives, caring less and less about anything other than his mission, and justifying it with the idea that it's for the people. It's honestly great watching it play out, and there's a whole lot more than what I just mentioned here. You know, the parallels between Law and Chaos, Neutral and the White. Aw, damn, bro, the White. Man, that whole shit was great. I mean, I'm not about to go into it because the last time I did, people got angry, but damn. I don't really got the effort to try and fake sounding sad right now for this video, but damn, what a real good-ass way to end your video game, bro. Shin Megami Tensei 4 is a perfect entry game for folk who are trying to get into the series, and even outside of that, it's just a good-ass game in general, bro. It's got the story, the music, the gameplay, the world, and the writing to back that shit up too. With so much content waiting to be explored and unraveled from the moment you start the game up, and a beautiful-ass world filled to the brim with personality, a game like this is really one of a kind. And while it's not my favorite game of all time no more, I for damn sure won't forget just how influential this game was for me growing up. All I really got left to say is, Atlas, remove full heal spells from future games, limit the freedom on skills during fusion, and please don't fuck up SMTIV. Thank you very much.
So to start my opinion off, I'm just gonna go ahead and get the nitpick out of the way, because it's dumb and it's only something that manifested in my recent playthrough. I wish there was a way I could speed up combat by holding a button down or something, like in Strange Journey Redux. It's a dumb complaint, but I'm just coming off playing that, and forced combat is still fast as hell. I'm just spoiled. There, nitpick acknowledged. I'ma move on. One of my favorite things about this game is the fully voice-acted story. Not only is that an impressive feat for a handheld game at the time, but the best part is that it's directed perfectly. It helps elevate a story that, while I don't think is the best in the series, is certainly the best executed. Unlike Strange Journey, 4 has zero pacing issues in my opinion, and every subject it tackles is handled well. Not only that, but there comes a point in the plot where I legitimately had no idea what to choose, something that's only ever happened to me twice as I've played this series. Back in 2013, I literally sat there on my bed for what felt like forever, trying to decide what to pick, and even to this day, I still can't tell you what I would pick if I was answering truthfully. No spoilers, but it's a great moment. An issue I do have with the plot, however, is that it can be too vague with various details, such as lore and the nature of certain things. Until a few years ago, I just thought it was awkward storytelling, but once we learned just how much Kaneko wrote for this game and how much of it was cut, it's incredibly clear to me why things came out the way they did. If only they could take that second half of the story and, I don't know, make a sequel with it. If only. The cast is also the best the series has to offer, but that isn't exactly saying much. Walter and Jonathan have moments where they just feel like puppets for their respective alignment. They never really feel like they develop and instead just start off thinking what they think. Similarly, Isabeau always has trouble making a decision, oftentimes offloading it onto you. She does, however, feel the most naturally developed, as throughout the game she does start to speak her mind, and by the time your alignment locks in, she too will have made a decision on where she stands on things. The key difference that makes this group stand out from past SMT casts is likability. These characters feel more like people as you learn about their interests and lives prior to the events of the game. Not to mention moments where they're just goofy. There's a reason why you see Walter, Jonathan, and Isabeau's faces in a ton of SMT memes. In terms of its gameplay, they were somehow able to make a game that feels like a natural evolution of Nocturne without having to sacrifice anything. And it's on the fucking 3DS of all systems. The level design is surprisingly complex and deep, making exploring each area rewarding and satisfying. Combat and dungeon exploration is the best in the series so far, and fusion feels practically perfected in this game. When you beat a boss, there's this really cool effect where a demon cracks and oh hey, that black square is supposed to happen. I don't know about you guys, but I'm certainly playing this game on the original hardware. I've been playing all the games this way, look at them. If they were to port this game to PCs or modern consoles, it would feel right at home. Hell, if you were to, find a way to play this game on your television through a device that allowed you to connect it to said TV, as well as play the game with a controller with a customized control input that let you map the camera controls to a second stick, you would know exactly how much this game already feels like a console game. And if you were to find some way to apply HD textures to it, you would also learn that that's kinda all it needs to look great all these years later. The art direction is just impeccable. Doi did a great job with the character designs, and the new demon designs are also great. The biggest problem with the game, however, is the balancing. Smirking is broken. Your partner AI is dumb as hell. Enemies can take down your entire team in a single turn if you get unlucky, and the beginning of the game is easily the hardest part of the entire experience. I promise you, if you can get past Minotaur, the game is much more fun and rewarding. If he's too much for you, don't feel bad about lowering the difficulty. It's worth it, I promise you. The last thing I want to mention is the really cool Day 1 bundle. Along with the game, you got this really cool display box as well as a sound selection CD with some really great orchestrations of classic SMT tracks, as well as a strategy and design book that's just straight up a guidebook for the first half of the entire game. It could be laid out better and organized better, but this book certainly helped me get started and is a large reason I was able to get through this game back in 2013. There are plenty of better, more comprehensive guides out there, but if you can find a copy, go ahead and snag it. It's a really cool piece of Atlas history that also acts as a miniature art book too. I think the best reason for you to play Shin Megami Tensei 4 is so you can experience what I believe to be the best game on the Nintendo 3DS. It is a console-level experience on a handheld with a great story, good characters, fantastic gameplay, and to this day is probably the best executed game in the series. In terms of playing it, your only option is to play it on the Nintendo 3DS. While in North America and Japan you can buy the game physically, in Europe your only option is a digital copy. Don't know what happened there. Sorry, Europe. Dad, I have a question.
Yeah, what's going on, bro?
Why is it I both simultaneously live in a rundown shack in the middle of the woods as well as an arid desert?
I don't know, man. I think you're really gonna have to look inside yourself and figure that out on your own.
Huh. Check out Simply Dad's channel. He's a good boy with a great video I plugged earlier. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more. If you want to support the channel, I also just launched a Patreon that'll be linked in the description and at the end of the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Mwah.
All right, Mac, I'm gonna head out real quick. Hey, bro, let me know if you need anything on the next video you got going on. I think you only got one more left, right?
Oh, hell, you're right, I do. I only got Apocalypse left. Let's go. I only got Apocalypse.
Alright, bro, never mind. I take back what I said. Don't hit me up for this shit ever again.